Okay, well, he came, from what I remember, he came in 47, and he was studying at the Sorbonne. He was doing, I think, geography and history of art, and so-called down and out. Before that, he'd walked almost all the world, and he got to the Panama Canal, and for some reason he couldn't go further, so he kind of turned round and came back. And once he put in his foot into Paris, he said, that really is the city of light. And he said, this is my new home. So he knew immediately, and he never left. I mean, that was it. He went on trips. He went back to China because his father was a professor in the university in China. So George lived some early years in China. It wasn't always in America. So in 1947, so then he met Sylvia Beach, who was Rue de l'Odeon, that had a shop, Shakespeare and Company. She was the first one to publish James Joyce. I think a lot of people know that, but I think the others too. James Joyce, The Dubliners, and one of his other books. 3, I think she did 3. Along with Hemingway and many, many other people. The what do you call them? I forgot. The Americans? The expats. Expats in Paris. But she was a very generous woman. And the story is about Sylvia is really, you can see that she helped a lot of people, and financially, especially James Joyce. And in 1949 she closed up, and I think donated a lot of her library to George, and maybe helped him form his shop called the Mistral in the beginning, and gave him lots of very good advice. Yeah, so then when she was actually leaving, so it could have been in 1949, George asked her if he could call his shop Shakespeare and Company, and she agreed. I suppose he could have done it without the agreement, but he wanted the agreement. And he bought it as this little, it was a grocery shop. I think it was a little Arab grocery shop. And it was, I think a lot of people write about that, who went there, Phil and Getty, maybe Durrell. Yes, I think he was there in the 50s, because there's a big film about them. I think he met George then. And it was quite a, a very, very simple little place. And with all his books. And then he gradually, over the years, managed to buy quite a lot of the buildings, of the apartment buildings. He obviously made money with his books. In those days, libraries were much more, fructuous, is that the word? No, that's French. Productive. They made more money in those days than they did later on. But he always kept his bookshop in a state of derelict depression, with the rain falling down. So we used to put out all the pots and the pan. The rain just poured down. He used to stuff shirts and God knows what up, and they gradually, eventually ended up dropping down as well. And he said, go out and put another, he used to have, I don't know where he found them, in dustbins, pieces of things that he could block over, pieces of glass or pieces of tin all over there. And everything used to drip down. But it's true. I mean, his daughter now is doing a marvelous job. She's doing it her way. And I think George would be very happy, because the libraries today, you have to have something more, more like a library. I mean, George was literally living in almost a hovel, the rickety staircases and everything, but he did it all purposely. And he did start the Tumbleweed Hotel. So the Tumbleweed Hotel were all these waifs and strays down and out in Paris, like he called himself, down and out in Paris. The rag and bone man, but it's not his words, there were other people's words. He borrowed from, he was a marvelous, marvelous memory of all the books he ever read. And I said, George, why didn't you ever write yourself? He said, it's been my lifelong desire is to write a book. I tried and it just didn't come. He said, I haven't got it in me. With all those books I've read, I thought I would be, a Tolstoy, but I'm not. He just couldn't read. Is it raining? No, oh, God.